Hi guys, this is Dangoor with TigerChef, and today I'm going to teach you how to clean and prepare brisket to ready it for your barbecue. So this is the advanced version of making barbecue brisket. The reason why it's advanced, we have the whole brisket here in the package. So the first thing is you're going to take it out, wipe off all the blood. If you could see, there's a lot of blood all around it. So we're gonna clean it up and then we're gonna start this whole process. This is our full brisket right over here. There's two parts in the brisket. There's the point, which is this big fatty piece up here. And you can see it's separated over here by the flap, which is down here. So I'm gonna teach you guys how to get rid of the fats that you don't want and put the fats in there that you do want. So let's get started. So first part is, this is the back end. I'm gonna turn this around for you. We're gonna wanna trim off about 60% of this back end. Remember, we still wanna have fat on top. What's gonna happen is the fat's gonna drip off and go into our pan, which I'm gonna show you guys in a minute. So right now, I'm gonna cut this section off. Now the fat, I don't want to throw it away. I could use it for other things. One of the things is like baked beans. If you guys want to make like some great baked beans, use it. Just want to show you something real quick. If you can see, there's still fat here. You can tell the difference from the fat that I cut, which is red, and this is all white. This is like the fat that I'm leaving on. All right, so that's that section. I also cut off a big section over here because I kind of want this to be a little bit squared off. Squared off, you know, just perfect angles and stuff. Let's flip this sucker around. All right. Now, this end, there's a very thick fat cap, and this actually goes inside to separate the two. They call it the triangle. I like it a lot. All I'm gonna do is just, let's see if you guys can see here. If you see that there's a little cliff, I just want to end it where the cliff is. That's the first cut, right? Okay. You can see that this is all hard, fat meat. It's very dense. It's called the triangle because it triangles in. So that's all I'm going to do, is I'm going to triangle it out. You see, it's pure fat. And don't be scared to feel around. Like, I feel around inside to see, all right, I feel the fat. I feel the fat, see where it's going. I want to take that out. All right, so now this is my favorite part. It's seasoning the brisket. We're gonna start off with salt. You want to be very generous when you're seasoning this because it's a thick piece of meat. So I'm putting a good amount of salt on there. Next thing is next, I want to put a little bit of water. The reason for the water is because I really want this seasoning to stick to it. Now you could let your seasoning, you could season your meat and let it sit for about 12 hours. But this special spice mix that I have, which I'm going to give you a link if you want to get it. It's so perfectly strong and smoky. It has that barbecue flavor that you don't really need to let it sit. But if you got your own mix that you want to do, I would recommend it sitting for about 12 hours. So by the way, one thing that I didn't tell you to do, which is actually a trick, is this looks like it's perfectly seasoned, right? No, 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 no. Lift up the flap. That thing is completely naked. So we gotta season the inside over here too. All right, so the whole reason why this brisket is considered the advanced is not because of the whole brisket that we're using, it's because of the cooking process. You need to maintain a certain heat with the mesquite charcoal that we got over here, plus the hickory smoking chips. So I'm gonna teach you guys how to do that right now. All right, so the first thing I'm gonna do is remove these grates. Just put one on top of the other. Now, if you see in here, I've used this many times before. What we have over here, this is where the charcoal is going to sit. Now, the good thing about these, and remember, your grill might be different. You could choose how far away you want the coals to be. So I put the coals further down. All you have to do is to lift this up and the coals will be up higher. I want the coals as far away from the meat as I possibly can. So we're gonna take our mesquite chips and we're gonna make a little pile. On one side. You want this pile to be very close together. That way, the heat doesn't burn too hot, but it burns for a long time. So remember, barbecuing is a long process. Next thing you're gonna wanna do is drench it with lighter fluid. And then set it on fire. This guy just finished burning off. The flame is there just a little bit. So before it dies out, I'm gonna put a couple handfuls of these hickory chips on there. I just wanna cover all of my bricks right now. That's good. All right, she's starting to smoke, so let's get this thing covered. Put my grates back in. So as you can see, I got my steam tables. We're gonna add some beer to it. Now it's time to explain to you what these steam tables are for. This is gonna sit right under the meat. When the door closes, the meat's gonna go right over. Now, when I put the meat on, the fatty side was on the top. What it's gonna act as, let's say that this is our meat, this is the fat. The fat's gonna shrink, 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 shrink. The fat is gonna keep this moist. That's the whole point of the fat. So it's gonna melt on top, the fat's gonna drip off, come into here with a little bit of the meat juice, and this is gonna be such a delicious treat when you're done. So now, we're pretty much good. You see the smoke coming out from the sides. It's now time to close it. Now this is a big sucker, so gotta make sure that the walls aren't gonna hit it. So right now we have our whole barbecue smoking. This lets the smoke out. If you can see now, I'm gonna leave about an inch open. And you can see the smoke coming out of here. We don't wanna leave too much. This has everything to do with the input. So I'm gonna show you guys the input in a second, but that's about the right location that we wanna go. So this is our next portion over here. We need to let air come inside through here so it could heat up our coal and allow the smoke to go out through the top. So we're just gonna open this up about halfway. Got about 1/4 inch on each portion, and you can see the air is going inside. It's allowing the smoke. We have smoke coming out through every single direction. This is good because it allows a good airflow in, good airflow out. We're gonna have a nice little smoked brisket. This is gonna be awesome. We have great coals today.